I tell you, that little dun 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 at the end, that gets me every time. Anytime you have something like that, you have to end it with dun 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 dun. See what I mean? Wait. Let me do that again. See what I mean? It's got to have that dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. One more time. Dun 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 dun. Ooh, that gets me every time. Not sometimes, not once in a while, but every time that gets me. That really bakes my noodle. So anyway, it is October. It continues to be Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So, um, get the information, do what you need to do. Um, it's one of those things which reminds me I need to go and get my nether regions checked. Well, you know what I mean, to get the what do you call it? The oh man. Um where they put that water hose up inside of you, the prostate. I have to go and do my prostate exam. Colonoscopy, that's it. Colonoscopy. Wow, that took me a minute. um yeah, the last time I had it checked, I was under the anesthesia. You know, the one where you're like subject to the power of suggestion, but when you wake up, you don't remember a thing. That one. Yeah, so that it was just drinking that stuff was the odd part, but yeah, I still need to do that. Every 5 years they say. Once you reach 50, every 5 years. And of course, there was a delay with the pandemic and everything, so but no more excuses, right? Audrey Teschner, thank you so much. Evening Squad family and moderators, hope and pray a peaceful day to all. Thank you so much, Audrey Teschner, for that lovely prayer. And thank you so much for the super chat and watching Royal Sussex. Happy Friday to you. So, you guys, I am going to get moving because I know Duchess of Success is coming up. She's going to have another call in show today. The last one was incredible. So, I know you guys don't want to miss that. So, what if I was done in less than an hour? Let's see how it goes. I mean, it's not impossible. It is not impossible. So let's try and see. Let's see. Let me get my slides up and then we'll see what's possible. Wow, today is the 14th. Okay. Okay. Uh, oh, thank you so much. Didn't that take me a minute? No, I meant the colonoscopy. Oh, oh, yeah, or both. Yeah, absolutely. Why not both? Okay. But yeah, it was not bad. It's just drinking that stuff was the tough part because they want you like empty. So whatever that medication was, that anesthesia, that was a powerful moment. All I remember was waking up in recovery. I had to have someone drive me home. They say you could be kind of weird and foggy for the rest of until it wears off. Okay, so there you go. There you go. Oh, you know what? I forgot to put a heading on this one. Um All right. So this is how this starts off. Kaiser at Celibacy. That's what's missing is the first slide for this. So just bear with me. Pretend like we're looking at the Kaiser from Celibacy. Anyway, according to her, and of course Us Magazine, they are saying that um what am I trying to say? Oh yeah. So they're saying that the I guess you can't say Kensington Palace anymore, but the Princess of Wales is trying to send a signal that there is an attempt to offer an olive branch before the trip to Boston. And we all know what that olive branch is about. We all know what it's for. The same reason, the same reason why they are having the um, coronation on Archie's birthday. Because if you tie in the Sussexes, that is a great way to make sure that people watch. And so they are going to have the coronation on Archie's birthday, but that's not going to help the Prince and Princess of Wales. And so if they can't get the Princess and Princess of Wales to have people interested in their visit, it is going to be a huge flop. Just like, for instance, when they had the other occasion, I believe it was at the Royal Albert Hall, where they, were supposed to get all these people to see the Earth Flop Awards or the Earth Flop Gala, whatever the heck it was. Anyway, it was a flop. And as you can see, there wasn't much of a crowd outside. There wasn't much anticipation built. But if they could get those Sussexes to come to Boston for the visit of the newly minted Prince and Princess of Wales, then that would ensure that it would get noticed. I mean, they need Harry and Meghan. Harry and Meghan is not in want of their company, but they genuinely, seriously need the Sussexes. They need them bad. But I don't suspect that there's any chance that the Sussexes is going to get involved because of the way they were treated so poorly at the funeral. And not only the funeral, even before that, let us not forget that these two are likely, allegedly, responsible for running them out of Narnia. And if that is the case, then why in the world would I come to your Boston plea party? Yeah, please, plea. Yes, I'm going to call it the Boston plea party. The Boston pretty please party. Can you pretty please come to our Boston party? Now, I don't know how genuine or how true this is, but it wouldn't be beyond them to at least put the conversation out there in the public domain so that people will at least talk about that. I don't suppose that they suspect that the Sussexes would ever show up. Let's see. Right, C Max sounds like a good day to have a polo match. Hey, Connie Balmer. Oh, I didn't say hi to anybody. But you know what? For the sake of time, Connie Balmer, Church Nelly, Audrey Teschner, and so on. But so that I can not take a month of Sundays, I'm going to just keep it moving. Hey, Joan Garcia. Okay, and let me take that away. All right. Church Nelly, hey. All right, so that is what I think is that they just want to hitch their wagon to the Sussexes to try and get them. Where is it at? There we go. May 6th, Prince Archie's birthday. That's the only way people will watch my coronation. That is the only way. And so, again, that's why you have to include the Sussexes. I think Harry and Meghan is just a gift that just keeps giving for those folks. All right. And so that's the wrong one. Let me get over here. All right. So I'm done with that, you guys. We all know that that is just a bunch of hooey. But let's get to Nancy. If he shows up, I'm gonna punch him. I swear I'm about to catch a case. I cannot get over the courage of Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi was the only boss. She was the only boss on the day when they tried to hijack the United States government. She was on the phone. She was ordering up airstrike. Well, I'm just kidding. She didn't order up an airstrike, but she worked. She worked that day, and she demonstrated that for as much as the misogyny will allow people to believe that a woman is not capable in times of crisis, I will beg to differ. Nancy Pelosi was handling her business. Was she not handling her business? She was handling her business. Yes, yes, Joyce Boss. She she it was incredible. I mean, just and throughout the entire time, in spite of the fact that there was this attempt to overtake the American government, the United States government, Nancy Pelosi was trying to preserve the Constitution. She was trying to preserve the state, in spite of the fact of all of these things going on, without fear for her life or anything. Basically, she had one job, and that was to complete the process of the election. Yes, there is election day, but then there are also electors that are needed to certify the election. And she made sure that the business of state, that the ship of state continued to sail as though there was no choppy water or no rough seas. She did everything she could to maintain the business of state. So, Bright Eyes PBMJ says, "Hi, Baron, and all my lovely squatties. Nancy, the Terminator. Love her. She is my she is in my district, California. Don't play." Yes, Nancy Pelosi is from the congressional district in the Bay Area, I believe. And this longtime Democrat, force to be reckoned with. I was already impressed with Nancy Pelosi. You guys will get a chance to see the documentary. CNN actually has a much longer video. I think it's about 18 minutes. They did not censor the language, and I think it's part of a much greater um, documentary that they're working on, so that they can give you a full account as much as possible of what happened on January the 6th. So, um, I tell you, and just imagine if somebody turned to the royal family at a time of crisis like that, and they needed them to, you know, handle business like this. Now, Harry, Harry, the born leader, King Harry, I have no doubt that Harry would be a very calm head during a time of crisis if, you know, if he was called upon in the United Kingdom to handle a situation like this. But the rest of that family, not so much. Least of all his brother, not the sharpest tool in the shed. He would probably, try to blow his top and pretend like he's angry or upset about something, uh, and at the same time being ill informed and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, let's just hope it doesn't come to that. And there she is, and all at the what is that? At the instigation of the President of the United States. Right there, she's saying it. And all at the instigation of the President of the United States. The whole time she was in complete command of her power as the Speaker of the House. Now, in the line of succession for the United States President, you have the Vice President, and then, of course, you have the Speaker of the House. So then after that, I think is what, Secretary of State, and it's all the way down to like the Transportation Secretary or Secretary of the Interior. So in the event that the government is compromised or let's say we lose a few leaders from the top, there is a line of succession for the presidency, just for those of you outside of the United States, um, that there's always someone that is the next in charge. So um, you have the leader of the Senate, and then it just works its way all the way down to the lowliest position in the presidential cabinet. And so, anytime there's a State of the Union, they have what they call the designated survivor, meaning that one of the cabinet members must stay in a remote, secure location just in case something like January 6th happens. You always have to have someone that could be in charge. So, let's say tomorrow, for whatever reason, the president and vice president could not execute their duty, then as you can see, Nancy Pelosi, even if there was a time of war, which the Capitol was under siege, would have been in very capable hands. So I am very encouraged by, and there she is standing up to that bully. So when Nancy Pelosi says that she would, punch him in the face, now I'm not saying that she would knock that big Yeti down, but I am saying that if it had come to it, if she could have, she would have, handled her business, because what happened that day, I don't think what she was saying was idle words. I believe she was absolutely furious at this attack on the United States government. And she held the president at the time responsible for it, as well she should have, because of his rhetoric and such. It nearly cost us everything. And aware of how serious of the situation was, Nancy Pelosi was absolutely furious. And so, it's not the most polite thing to say that I will punch him if I see him, but it was at the time the way she felt. And that was the way she felt. She was angry. Now, myself, I'm just going to say I remember watching the votes, watch them count the votes from the electors. And then all of a sudden, much to my surprise, the cameras were turned off in the Senate chamber. I think they were in the Senate chamber. And next thing you know, I'm just like, I'm on the phone. I'm just like, I wonder what happened, you know? And what happened was Donald Trump. That's what happened. That's the fact. That is what happened. Donald Trump happened. Donald Trump nearly cost us our government, and it for him, it just, there was no price too high to ensure that he could stay in office. And just like with Bolsonaro in Brazil, there was this relationship with the military, although Bolsonaro actually did serve in the military. And, that chicken little uh, Donald Trump, he never did serve in the military. He said he was disabled because he had heel spurs or something. And it turns out that he was a star baseball player. By his recollection, he was a star baseball player, while at the same time he's telling the parole board, oh, I have a medical condition, I have heel spurs, there's no way in the world that I could possibly serve the in the military. So Captain Courageous, uh, Donald Trump, was too much of a coward to go to Vietnam. He said that his sex life in the 1980s, that was his Vietnam. So, um, oh man, uh, one of the people that I quote quite often, believe it or not, is Margaret Thatcher, who, according to what they say is that she once said that if you need something said, go to a man. If you need something done, ask a woman, right? And so uh, that's not an absolute rule, but it seems like on so many occasions that's just the way it is that there aren't enough women leaders in this world because women are more effective when it comes to certain type of leadership than the average man is, and that's just a fact. If there were more women in power, there would be fewer wars. So that is just something to think about. Let me take a look at some of your comments, and then I will um, I will move on. Okay. Let me see. Where is the quote first? If he comes here, I'm going to punch him out. Pelosi said with a straight face, I've been waiting for this. For trespassing on the Capitol grounds, I'm going to punch him out. And I'm going to jail and I'm going to be happy. I love it. I love it. If he comes here, I'm going to punch him out. I mean, Nancy literally said, I have been waiting for this. I have been waiting for this. And I believe that she was serious, that I have been waiting for this moment. You got to love it. You got to love it. I mean, literally, all of these people that are such cowards for Donald Trump. And Nancy just said what a lot of people were thinking, but nobody really, I mean, it was just like matter of fact. Woo! Right, Black Queen? I would pay to see that too. It was just matter of fact. If he comes here and trespass, I mean, I can't stress this enough for people who are not aware of the American political system. It's not as rowdy as some people outside of the country may think. Everything to do with January the 6th was so unprecedented. So, but then again, if you guys have survived, let's say Boris Johnson, and every day you kept saying this guy is a liar or this guy has no morals or something like that, that is exactly how we looked at Donald Trump. There seemed to be no bottom to his character. There seemed to be no bottom. I mean, whatever it takes, whether it's Machiavellian or however you want to describe it, sociopath, or just plain grifter, whatever you want to call it, there seemed to be an other reality that I've never seen before, and I have followed politics for a very long time. I have followed politics for a long time, and I've never seen the likes of it. There was just nothing like it, and you could not ever say that, oh, he won't do that, because eventually at some point he would. And I I was just amazed that so many people would cower to him, or so many people like oh, let's see, who was that went to the Trump Tower that time? um I mean, I have put him so far in the back of my mind that I can't even think about it. Black comedian, big mustache, talk show, and I don't even think about him for one. Steve Harvey. There you go. Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey literally sold out his soul when he went to the White House that day. That was a huge mistake, and he has never seemed to recover from it. That was a huge mistake. I don't know why. I don't know why he would do something like that, but um I don't know if he called himself tapping into a different audience or something like that. But that was a big mistake. Why in the world would you, as an African American man, um, go to someone that makes so many people feel so unsafe and insecure? Why would you do that? But he did. And that was a huge mistake. So it was really like crawling up in the bed with the devil. That's the only way you can compare it, is that it was just like crawling up in the bed with the devil. And Steve Harvey has never fully recovered from that. I mean, he's still rich. I give him that, but he's never fully recovered from the day that he went to Trump Tower. I know I'll never forget it. So let me see. Where's that meme that I made for Steve Harvey going to Trump Tower? I know I have it somewhere. Oh, there it is. There it is. You guys got to see this. I made a meme. I made a meme for Steve Harvey going to the Trump Tower. I'll share that with you right now. Uh Steve, okay. Okay, I'm not a Steve Harvey fan, but I find him to be a hypocrite years ago. Yeah, let me see. Hi, Baron. Have you seen the newspaper interview? You know what? We're going to talk about that. We are going to talk about that. Let me get this shade out first, and we will get to that very soon because I got a little shade to share before I move on. Uh, Elaine Parker, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. And happy Friday to you. Greatly appreciated. And also, thank you, as usual, for being a member of Royal Sussex. Also, greatly appreciate it. Okay, so what am I doing here? All right, I got that. Take a sip of coffee. Today I am drinking a lovely Hawaiian blend, and it is awesome. So there is the champion of the United States Constitution right there, Nancy Pelosi. By the way, I love that very, very defiant pose that she has right there. That is absolutely the embodiment of power, and she's not afraid to use it. And this is a little meme that I made for Nancy. The devil whispered in Nancy Pelosi's ear, "You are not strong enough to withstand the storm." Nancy whispered in the devil's ear, "I am the storm." Ah, right? I am the storm. Don't get it twisted, Satan. I am the storm. You better watch out for me. Alma Andrews, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Happy Friday to you. And then, of course, enters the shade. This was my depiction of the former so-called president leaving the White House for the last time. If that looks somewhat familiar, I'm not surprised. Well, let me make one thing perfectly clear. If I can make one thing perfectly clear, the good thing is that he's gone. So that was a little shade. I told you guys I had a million memes for that person, and I haven't really shared them a lot lately, but that's one. And then Steve Harvey, who disappointed me so bad. There he is, Steve Harvey in his best role ever. Steve Harvey as the butler. I told you it was shade. I was very disappointed in that moment. And Well, anyhow, for that reason, I just kind of had a reaction, and I'm not saying that it was polite by any stretch of the imagination. Cheryl Bennett, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex, and happy Friday to you. And then, of course, oh my God, why, Steve? Why? This is Steve at the Trump Tower when he was sent for. He wasn't invited. Trump sent for him. And what did he do? He went. He was like, yep, I'm on my way. How disappointing. So, yes, if you guys missed it, there was a movie that came out that was that was called The Butler. Not, you know, that Butler movie, Lee Daniels Butler, but this is Steve Harvey's The Butler. So, okay. Anyway, let us go on. Spotify has ignited quite a few conversations that needed to be had, obviously, and um, thanks to our Duchess, people that otherwise were not within the reach of therapy or counseling or even just talking to a friend, people who were holding back and keeping their feelings bottled deep inside, people who may have been going through a mental health crisis or just needed someone to talk to, they're talking to one another now. And one of the reasons why is because of archetypes. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Meghan and Deepika discuss mental health, and this is in the Delhi Times, right? And don't forget, she said that she wasn't thinking about her career when she went on television and started talking about her feelings. Now, you guys, Bollywood actors, for some people that are fans of the Bollywood actors, they are they are bigger than life celebrities. More so, they take their celebrity way more serious in the Bollywood crowd than they ever have in Hollywood. I mean, Hollywood celebrities can get really big, but Bollywood's is a whole nother level. And so for a Bollywood actor or actress to come out and admit that they have been struggling or express their feelings about mental health concerns is pretty rare. But some people have, and right now the loud actually, I don't know how many people before her, if any, but right now the loudest voice is that of Deepika. So good on you, Meghan, for opening up mental health to a much larger audience. Okay. I'm sure a lot of people are disappointed that they fell for the Orange Menace, and there's still those crazies still behind him. Yeah, it was just so many conventions, right? There were so many conventions, so many norms that were breached, so many traditions that were thrown away during that period that he was in the White House. And I don't know how people could justify that. Even Mitch McConnell, and I can't believe that I am going to quote Mitch McConnell, said that if they don't certify the election, that we run the risk of destroying our democracy. And still, that wasn't enough for some people to um, to do the right thing. There were still people in the government actively um, supporting the man that they didn't even want to be president. The Republicans, first they dismissed him, and then they said no way, and then when he got a large amount of votes, way more than they could even justify refusing him the presidency, although they still could have just not seated him as the candidate, but they did because they were afraid of the constituencies. And so that is how he got on the ballot, which lets you know that any lunatic can get into the White House if they are popular. And that's what happened. Phyllis Brooks, looks like you just got a new membership to Royal Sussex. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that you're here. And thank you for supporting the channel. It is greatly appreciated. Okay. Joan Garcia has a super chat. Baron, yesterday, an article read the Sussexes won yet another award as if it's a bad thing. Well, yeah, and of course, when that happens, Joan, you always have to look at the source and see who's writing that article. There are so many of the tabloid reporters, and I guess some people who couldn't make it at the tabloids that have a career in writing, and they find themselves going to the U.S. where they can make good money. You have a better chance of buying property, right? Just like that one writer that I mentioned the other, what was it, last week, the one who had those very terrible health problems that it wrote all of those negative things about the Sussexes and such, and Lily's name and all that. And she turned out to be quite the royalist and raised between the UK and Australia. And I cannot help but think that as a royalist, there seems to be no filter. There seems to be nothing but bias against the Sussexes when they write. So I can't say I'm surprised that that happens, because consider the source. I mean, look at the Max Foster. One minute he's speaking glowing about the Sussexes, but then very soon, when he realized that the marching orders are to do otherwise, it seemed like he changed his tune. So, anyway, thank you so much, Joan Garcia, for the super chat, and thank you so much for being a member and watching Royal Sussex. Okay, so all right, I think we're good with this. Now, right here, you can see there. Don't they get it? Tabloids are insulting Kate to hurt Meghan. Don't compete where you can't compare. This constant comparison to the Duchess of Sussex, I used to think that they were just so zealous that they were trying to uplift the Duchess of Cambridge, which at the time she was the Duchess of Cambridge. But there were so many articles that came out that were constantly doing this comparison between the two, when the truth is they're very different people. The Duchess of Cambridge, at the time she was the Duchess of Cambridge, was very satisfied to produce children and do very little else. Doesn't seem to have much of a social life. Doesn't seem to have a lot of friends. Doesn't seem to have a good girlfriend at all. But she has the nannies to order around. She has a staff to order around, and she's very close to her family. God bless her. She's close to her family. But otherwise, she was always keening. She was always keening to do things. And then, of course, as I learned on Celibacy, they have what they call the keening season. And that is every year. Kate is always keen to do something. And it's like the start of the work season for the Royals, where she will sign on to a lot of different projects and programs, but she wouldn't really follow through on them. But it was enough for her to go and take pictures and such. And so here on the thumbnail that I made for a video some time ago, you can see that she's wearing a dress. She has what you can't see for the I guess the caption there, she's got a folder in her hand, right? So she's cosplaying Meghan with the folder, and these were the photos they selected at that particular article. And so she's got the folder and she's going inside and she gave a trembling, shaky speech. And then she sat down at a table. Actually, did she speak on that occasion? I'm trying to think. Yeah, she did say a few words. But what they try to do to calm her nerves is to put her at a conference table so that she doesn't have to speak in front of a room full of people. She still has this huge phobia about speaking publicly. She's not good at it. And then also, she's constantly referring to her notes because she doesn't seem to retain the stuff that she's pretending to have participated in creating. And so, this was the big rollout of her 5 questions that took 10 years to come up with about child development. And so she sat there and mumbled back and forth with the people at the table. And basically, it was a huge photo op. There was no business conducted that day. The only thing of business was let me see if I could hold this folder, this binder, go in there and sit at the table, mumble out a few words, and then get the hell out of there. That was the only thing that she was able to do. But yet, we're supposed to believe that Kate somehow is an expert, is the go to person for child development when her little child owned her, owned her at the Jubilee. I mean, he was wringing her neck, sticking his little fist down her throat. I mean, it was like I thought I was watching the WWF. I didn't know that that was supposed to be the Jubilee. I thought I was watching the WWF. I mean, this kid was attacking her, and she is the expert on child development. I'm like, how can that be consistent if this kid is owning her in front of a crowd of people? Something's not right here, I thought to myself, but I couldn't say anything because she's the expert on child development. So who am I to say anything? Yeah, so I I would have believed that up until the point when the kid pulled a pistol on her. At that point, when he started pistol whipping her, I said, okay, maybe she needs to go back to the drawing board because I don't think that those 5 questions included being pistol whipped by a child in front of a global audience. So, yes, something was missing. Kim Peaches, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. I mean, I've never seen a child pistol whip a grown adult woman before, but then again, I've never been invited to a Jubilee either, so I guess there's a first for everything. Let me see here. SPNN4S says royal family fear her because Meghan gives great speeches. She's confident, comfortable with the public. Her and Harry have charisma. William and Kate don't have it, and they know it, and it scares them. Yeah, that's true. They don't even hide it anymore that they are terrified of them. Well, you know what? They won't say it publicly, of course, but through their actions, I think it's becoming increasingly obvious that they are the ones that are afraid, not the Sussexes. Louis almost snatched out her extensions. She should spend more time with the nannies and pick up some strategies. If she offered to help, I'd pass. Maybe that is why she didn't offer Meghan any help. Yeah, it would have been so funny if Louis would have had like a bunch of those extensions in his little hand and looked at it like, what is this? Or maybe threw it and, just kind of brushed his hands clean. But yeah, so they do her a disservice with all this comparison stuff. All right, now moving on to this. Dr. Shola says black and brown racial gatekeepers will never learn they can't do what white people get away with. He's paying price for Liz Truss's economic incompetence and his support of it. She dumped him to save her job in Black History Month, no less. Kwasi Kwarteng laid his bed. He'll be made a peer. Well, probably they will probably make him appear, won't they? I mean, it's like when you're in that club and he is in the club there, he's in the club, he's a good foot soldier. So of course they're going to take care of him because I mean, well, he's worked his way through the establishment. So but yeah, it is Black History Month in the UK, and as a symbol of change, he is like the highest ranking black person who's ever been in government there. Well, that didn't do him any good because, as Liz Truss said, oh, we worked on this together and side by side and this and that, and he shares my vision. Well, all of a sudden, they don't share the same vision. I believe he did what she asked him to do. He executed her plans, and it nearly tanked the economy. And so, to save face, she said some nice things about him, but you also have to go. You have to go, bruh. Sorry, bruh, you got to go. Yeah, the Queen did say that they were lazy. The Queen wanted Kate to get a job because she knew that Kate lacked any ambition. I mean, at the very least, people said the Queen worked. Of course, like Stacy said, if you pay me, I'd work hard too. But the Queen did at least work. But you can't really say the same for lazy Katie. She has a reputation of being lazy. That's why they were so outraged when that magazine, the Tatler, had that article, Catherine the Great, in which they, claimed that she was lazy. Well, she had a fit. She had a fit. The palace was, made them remove that article. Some people were lucky enough to get them off the newsstands, but the online, oh, that was completely altered because someone told the truth. She's lazy. Okay, so Save the Children UK. We are excited to announce that photographer, entrepreneur, and social activist Misan Harriman has been appointed an official ambassador of Save the Children UK. Welcome to the family, Misan Harriman. So, that charitable organization, Save the Children UK, has brought him on board. And as a photographer, he will be able to help tell the story of children in need. So, Misan Harriman, who his career is rising like the sun, has yet another feather in his cap. And so I want to say congratulations to him for having this position. Everything he touched seems to turn into gold. So he took those great photos of the Sussexes, if you recall, the one where Harry and Meghan and Archie were in their garden in the stately, palatial, opulent, picturesque Sussex Manor in Montecito, California, where there are no leaks. And of course, yes, there are no leaks in Montecito. And of course, the photo after the One Young World, which went viral, and of course, just overshadowed the image of those four um, funeral directors, those four undertakers. Uh, I told you they look like they're in a band called the Undertakers, right? But yeah, so that photo of Harry and Meghan, went viral, and that's from the Undertakers. Well, yeah, those they look like morticians, don't they? Ladies and gentlemen, the Undertakers, or ladies and gentlemen, the Morticians, something like that. But yeah, they just kind of look like they're in a weird band or something like that. Oh well, but that's enough about them. Okay. Oh, did I say thank you, Kim Peaches, for the super sticker? If not, thank you for the super sticker. And thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. You know, I scroll back and forth a lot. All right, let me get back over here. Okay. Unlike other women, Meghan Markle, hashtag Meghan Markle, I, hashtag Kate Middleton, the hashtag Princess of Wales, um, prior to marriage was confident, self-made, meeting world leaders, and doing impactful charity work prior to getting married. It's quite obvious why I'm considered a better royal. Now, of course, that is dripping of sarcasm, and this is from a Twitter account which is called oh, wait a minute. What is it called? It's up there in the corner. Let me see. I can't see it on my screen. Oh yeah, it's called Kate Middleton, or Kate Parody account. So anyway, dripping with disdain and sarcasm, you can see Kate in her prime. It's like if you ask the question, what did Kate do before she became a royal princess, compared to what was Meghan doing before she became a royal princess? Well, if you take a look on the left, it involved a lot of black cabs and dance floors and juke joints and roller skating, likely with drink until you pass out. There was that moment when she once donned the outfit of a Playboy bunny for charity, of course. And then, of course, there's that scene. Now, I know this is hard to believe, but apparently the story goes that William saw her. They had broken up, right? And then William saw her in this transparent, bespoke designer gown, walking in her knickers across the runway. And apparently he thought, oh, I can't let this go. Ooh, I can't let go of this. I better make up with her. That's what the story says. It's very different from the tale of Prince Harry, who overheard a conversation in the other room, and there was the woman that someone wanted him to meet, and listening to this incredibly beautiful, intelligent woman having a conversation about some worldly manner, he had to step back and think, I got to step up my game. And so he got the courage to enter the room and introduce himself. And they have been together ever since. Annie Bennett, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. And happy Friday to you. Thank you so much for being a member. Greatly appreciate it. So that is the difference. If one had to ask the question, what did they do before they married into that family? Well, they both had some college, right? I mean, when they both graduated from college, Kate with her vanity degree in art, literature, or some, no, not literature, just art. And then, of course, there's the Duchess of Sussex, who studied um, it wasn't political science. It was, oh gosh, it was something diplomatic. I can't remember the exact title, but something to do with global diplomacy. And then, of course, there is the degree that she got in acting. So um, I think she has a double degree, right? So making her the most educated woman in the history of that family, which sounds surprising, but in terms of a formal education, she comes through the door with more than any of the rest of them, which is probably one of the reasons why they were so, I guess, terrified of her because no, she thinks too much. She speaks well and she's beautiful. So, international relations. Thank you. There we go. International relations. That's the degree. International relations. And yes, she did work as an intern at the United States Embassy in Buenos Aires, where she became fluent in Spanish as a Californian. Of course, there's a lot of people in California that speak a little Spanish, but she was fluent by the time she left Buenos Aires. So, um, and I think, in her own admission, her Spanish sounds very Italian because, well, that is the inflection that is used in Argentina. Argentina, as they describe it, is a country that has very French architecture, that has a very Italian attitude, but yet they speak Spanish and a couple of other things they describe. All right. And then right there it says, let's get over it with, I'm sorry, let's get over with. This is a 2007 lunch party at the Chelsea Club for, what is that documentary called Rabbit Fever? Rabbit Fever? In question is the adult something. Uh, and I think I'm going to stop right there. The Daily Mail celebrated the announcement of Kate and William's engagement by gleefully publishing what they touted as a previously unseen image of Bunny Kate, or is it Bunny Gate? Bunny Kate. They also reported that she worked the room and teased, and that's where the article cuts off. But yeah, so before she was a royal princess, she actually worked the room. Okay. And then, of course, I'm always one to remind people about her black cab days, like this one right here. Back in those days when she literally would spill out of the back of the black cab into the London nights. That is how some people remember the future queen consort, the current Princess of Wales. Not much like her mother in law, is she? But anyway, I just have to point these things out because they try to imply that the Duchess of Sussex needed the royal family in order to be recognized on a global stage, in order to have these connections to world leaders like, I don't know, Justin Trudeau or Ban Ki moon. And let us not forget Hillary Clinton, a host of other people that knew her. Some actually knew of her from childhood when she wrote those letters, up until the point that she met Prince Harry. But we are led to believe that she would be a nobody and a nothing if it wasn't for Narnia. But let's not forget either that Kate had that career as a concert pianist where she cosplayed the Phantom of Westminster Abbey. And what about her review? Kate Middleton is jazz hands. Let us not forget those jazz hands. That is something that she picked up. Some people refer to it as a nervous tick. Others refer to it as Kate's real talent, where she does the jazz hand, where she does the jazz hands. And then right there, this is what people have been talking about on Twitter as well. Even Prince William can't take his eyes off of her, right? Well, this is from an account where, now check this out. This account is supposed to be a woman of African American descent, but she's, that's what she says. I can't say she's not because she doesn't show her face. She says she doesn't want to show her face because you know how people can be on the social media. So she doesn't show her face. But she loves to promote all things Cambridge. again and again and again. So there you have it. This is supposed to be another one of those moments where they just can't take their hands off of each other. They can't take their. I just noted he didn't look at her. He never seems to look at her. He always seems to look past her, and that is how close they are. It's amazing how they make such a big deal out of the tactile relationship that these Sussexes have, and yet even the tabloid media are not beyond trying to promote this idea. You like that? Yeah. Yeah. Do a little Fosse. Yeah. Right? You got to do a little Fosse move. The sentence is not complete if you don't have those hands going like Fosse. You got to do those jazz hands and kick, jazz, kick. Okay. Now, baby boomers, do you guys recognize this image? And if you do, can you name the people in what is probably my favorite movie ever? Can you name those people? Anybody? Can you name them? Go on if you can. Just I'm not going to say any names, but I'll give you guys a chance to name those people. I could probably name one, two, three, four, five of them. I can name five of them. Okay, I see Betty Davis. Come on, you guys. Come on, boomers. This movie came out 70 years ago. Betty White. No, Church Nelly, you know that's not Betty White. Okay, I see Betty Davis, Marilyn Monroe. There's no Joan Crawford, but Betty Davis, Marilyn Monroe, Celeste Holmes, Anne Bancroft. Nope, not Anne Bancroft. Addison DeWitt. Well, that's the character's name. Good on you for knowing the character's name. Lucille Ball. Margaret Rowland. No, that's not Lucille Ball. Clark Gable. Are you guys drinking this early in the day? What is wrong with you guys? Oh, moonshine. Oh, well. That explains all, I'm afraid. But okay. George Saunders, very good. Gary Merrill, that's the name I couldn't remember. I got Ann Baxter. Let's go left to right. Ann Baxter, Celeste Holmes. Well, okay, Ann Baxter, George Saunders. Wait, I'm sorry. Ann Baxter, Gary Merrill, Celeste Holmes, George Saunders, Marilyn Monroe, Betty Davis, and I don't know who the guy is. No, it's not Ronald Reagan, but he does have the Reagan hair, right? It's not Bob Hope. Faye Dunaway, William something, the guy on the right. That's the one I can't remember. Nope, not Kirk Douglas. I don't know who the guy on the right is. It's not Jack Nicholson. It's not Hugh Marlowe, not Eddie Fisher. Bob Hope. Okay, I can see he does. George Saunders does kind of look like Bob Hope. I don't know who the guy on the right is, but you know what? I knew five of them, and you guys filled in almost everything but the guy on the right. I knew this would be fun. William Holden? No, that's not William Holden. Eddie Fisher? No. I don't recognize the guy on the right. I saw the movie, I don't know how many times, but I never knew his name. The Chin. Oh man. Well, you guys, I'm just about done here. So if you guys want to go over to Duchess of Success, go on. I am going to take a look and see who that guy is, because that is going to get on my nerves until I figure it out. So let me Google all about Eve's cast, and I'll tell you who it is. But right now I can't think of his name. Uh, but yeah, you guys, Duchess of Success is going to have a call in today. So if you guys have anything you want to talk about directly, you'll have your opportunity to do that. So, all about Eve. Let me see. All about Eve cast. Oh, his name is Hugh Marlowe. Lloyd Richards is Hugh Marlowe. So, Betty Davis, Ann Baxter, Marilyn Monroe, Celeste Holmes, George Saunders, Gary Merrill, and Hugh Marlowe. Now, who's missing from this image is Thelma Ritter. Thelma Ritter, with her usual sarcasm, she's missing from the photo. But yeah, it's one of the best movies ever made. If you guys have not seen All About Eve, I'm telling you, it is a story about intrigue in the theater world, and it it won more Oscars than any other movie. Rod Sterling, Joan Garcia. The guy on the right is Hugh Marlowe. So from left to right, one more time: Ann Baxter, Gary Merrill, Celeste Holm, George Saunders, Marilyn Monroe, Betty Davis, and Hugh Marlowe as Lloyd Richards, the playwright. Oh, I love Thelma Ritter. If you guys remember the line from the movie, Thelma Ritter played Betty Davis's maid, and she was more than just a maid. She was also kind of like her dresser. Um, Thelma Ritter was taking the coats from all of the people visiting this party. This is the famous party scene where Betty Davis said, "Better fasten your seatbelt. It's gonna be a bumpy night," right? So as she's taking the coats, she walks out the bedroom and she tells, or was she in the bedroom and Betty Davis went in there? She says, "That bed looks like a dead animal act." There was nothing but fur coats, and she said the bed looks like a dead animal act. So, I don't think I've ever seen Rear Window. Yeah, I don't think. Wait, what did somebody say? Brad Pitt? Oh, you said if anyone sees Brad Pitt, I'm done. Oh man. Well, okay, I can see that guy. Hugh Marlowe. He does kind of give you Ronald Reagan with the purple hair, and yes, Ronald Reagan's hair seemed to be purple. It never really turned completely gray, did it? I think he was using like some greasing formula or something. But yeah, great movie. If you ever get a chance to see it, it was one of the best ever made. I am unanimous in that, as Mrs. Slocum would say. Okay, so also, lastly, very popular was Not My King, the yellow t shirt guy. We're going to protest the coronation. Are you? Saturday, May the 6th, 2023. Now, I'm not saying that I am on board with protesting. I'm just saying that if you guys feel inclined to hand out bottled waters, I think someone offered to do messages for them, right, Black Queen? They offered to do messages. And or whatever. Or whatever. Okay, but yeah, so that is something that is available. So, okay, you guys, I am going to go. That is, of course, wait a minute. What's that? Oh, we never did get around to this, did we? I'm so sorry. I thought this was sooner rather than later. You know, I thought I was at the end because I got the yellow t-shirt guy, but I had promised that we would talk about this. So this was an interview with Camilla, Camilla's former brother-in-law, Richard, given around 19 I mean given at 1995, and he did not mince his words about his former sister-in-law. This was not the only interview he gave, um, alleging, I think they put sledging. Oh, right, alleging Camilla later on after his family had put the pressure on he apologized. So obviously he apologized for this speech, but yeah. So you know what, guys, I had totally forgot I had this. I had put it much later than I remembered in today's lineup. So well, I mean, since we're here, let me go ahead and I can't see that one, but I can see this one. He says Camilla Parker Bowles plotted to remain the Prince of Wales' lover while encouraging him to marry Diana, according to claims made by a close relative of Parker Bowles in the Mail on Sunday. He thought the young lady died. I'm sorry, she thought the young lady, Lady Diana, would be easy to manipulate and would be no threat to Camilla's former brother-in-law, Richard Parker Bowles. He described her as a steel fist in a velvet glove who patiently ridiculed Diana as batty and um, what is that? Rod roughshod, rod roughshod. Only the other people uh, over other people's. Okay, rode roughshod over other people's emotions. Mr. Parker Bowles told the newspaper, knowing all the players in this drama, the Prince, Diana, and Camilla, it is Diana who I feel most sorry for. The fact is that if Camilla had been a child on the beach, she would have kicked the other children's sandcastle down. She is a wrecker at heart. She doesn't like to see other people happy. Mr. Parker Bowles goes on, that is, to describe how Camilla often talked about Diana in the cruelest personal terms. He said that Charles' mistress referred to Diana as gormless, as a gormless, whatever that is, Gormsess. I'm sorry, Less, Gormless, Gormless. Yeah, Gormless, whatever that is. Thought Diana was bonkers, and on one occasion told her brother-in-law, "Have you heard? She has gone absolutely batty." Mr. Parker Bowles added, uh, she initially encouraged the relationship between Charles and Diana because she thought Diana was gormless, whatever that word is. I don't know that. I've never heard that word before. Over the years, Camilla did intimate to me that she thought Diana was either half witted or quite mad, but she never stopped putting Diana down in private. Camilla didn't mock Princess Diana in public, only in the intimacy of a family group. One was very much led to believe that the Princess of Wales was unstable. He said Camilla knew that as a woman with a past, she would never be accepted as Charles's wife, but she also thought Diana was someone whom he could manipulate. Camilla knew she would keep Charles' heart, which she has done. She never wanted to marry Charles. She wanted to continue to be his paramour, but her game plan was to stay married to Andrew. That is Andrew Parker Bowles. She is made, let me see, she is made of teak. She would have backed off if she truly loved Prince Charles. Of course, she probably didn't really love him as much as she wanted the attention that he can get her. She is made of teak, he said. I guess that means like teak wood. I don't know. But she wanted two things from her life: to retain her special relationship with Prince of Wales and a marriage to someone she was genuinely fond of, which of course is Andrew Parker Bowles. She and my brother Andrew were close. She had known him for 7 or 8 years before they were married, but toward the end, Andrew's position as the cuckold became untenable. And then someone wrote a note there. You can see they used some whiteout to remove it. He said Camilla drove a wedge between her husband Andrew and his mother, and he claimed that she passed on untrue stories about his own behavior to his wife, hastening their split. He said, "Never forget one thing about my ex sister in law. She is a very forceful personality. Camilla was always very strong and got her own way. She stood her ground on almost anything, especially where men were concerned. And she most certainly," and then it cuts off there, does it? No. Oh, yeah, she most certainly, okay, stood her ground in almost everything, especially when it came uh, where men were concerned, and she most certainly saw uh, other girls off. So she obviously pushed the other girls away. So that is the article. Gosh, I wonder who saved this because it's probably not online. That's the thing, is it's probably not online right now. Let me see. Nash Singby, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex, and happy Friday to you. Okay. And Annie Bennett, oh yes, I did say thank you. I'm scrolling in the wrong direction. Okay. Okay, you guys. So I forgot I had all this stuff. Royal Rev Camilla didn't want William to marry. Didn't want. I'm sorry. Camilla didn't want William to marry pretty but damn Kate Middleton, and urged Prince Charles to keep her split. I'm sorry. Urged Prince Charles to help her split them up. Royal Arthur claims. All right. So that story, which I saved for some reason, I don't know why, but let me see. Really, Lady Bird? Please check if Lady Bird is blocked from the channel. Okay, because I did just 1 day subscription for today's show. I didn't do like the 1 month or 1 week. So yeah, she shouldn't be blocked, but I will definitely check to see. Thank you for that. Duchess of Cornwall is unlikely to ever forgive Prince Harry and Meghan Markle for hurting Prince Charles during that M word that I never say, sources claim. So, as you can see, it's conflicting. Camilla wanted Charles to marry someone she thought was dim-witted, whereas here you can see Camilla didn't want William to marry someone. So I don't believe that one. That one I don't believe. I believe that the only way that she could ever have anything over another woman is definitely not in the department of looks. It would only be if she thought herself to be more cunning or more clever than the next. So that's the only reason why she would probably, want a particular type of marriage. So I don't believe that article, but I saved it for some reason. I don't know why. And as you can see, Harry hasn't been completely put off with Camilla. I mean, you can see right there, he's blowing into her nostrils. And that is a way that you can get closer to people, is just by blowing into their nostrils to You see what I mean? He's blowing into her nostrils so that she might have that type of connection to him. And well, I mean, I don't know that they ever got that close, but as you can see, he's doing his best. So why would Camilla say that she could never forgive him if he's gone through all the trouble to, blow into her nostrils and let her, and stroke her, you know what I'm saying? So oh, that's a great point right there, Carolyn Tubbs. Game recognized game. She knew who Kate was because she saw herself. Exactly. All you got to do is just hang around until you get super familiar. And there you can see it runs in the family. There's Charles's great or great great grandfather, who was well, his mistress was Camilla's great great grandmother or whatever. So Charles and Camilla seem to play off of each other in its relationship with the idea that it's somewhat of a family tradition. They said that Charles had even gone through the trouble of shopping for jewelry that once belonged to Camilla's great great grandmother, and he would buy that jewelry and give it back to her. So, um, so let's say that Camilla's great 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 grandmother, maybe she had a dog, and maybe the dog collar was made of diamonds or something. Well, then Charles would go through all that trouble to hunt down that dog collar and bring it back into the family for whatever reason, in case they have a canine of their own or something, or something. Um, And then you have right here this photo of Camilla. You guys may remember this photo. That one is the one where she kind of looks like that silky chicken. But what you may not remember about this photo is that she actually took this photo at an event for abused women, for women of domestic violence, which is so ironic that someone who caused so much grief for other women, most likely, as opposed to another woman, someone with her track record would dare to show her face, would dare show that face at a shelter for domestic violence. Crocodile tears. Crocodile tears. And there she is, all the way in the background in the red circle, wearing white to Princess Diana's wedding. And as you can see, Prince Charles' head is looking in that direction for his mistress. Shady. And then, of course, to close the deal, if it's not bad enough that you have an article where they tell you exactly how the game was played, and that was to make Princess Diana look insane. Well, then you have William, her eldest child and future king, who goes out and tries to condemn Martin Bashir as the one who made her paranoid, as the one who made her life miserable, the one who helped divide his parents, when the truth is it was Charles and Camilla. That's what I hate about not not crocodile tears, chicken tears. That's what I hate about this article is the fact that he's condemning his mother's memory. He's actually trying to muzzle his mother. He's like cupping his hand over her mouth, figuratively, so that even from the dead, she's not able to tell her story anymore because this trusted figure by some, her son, has led people to believe that Martin Bashir is responsible. He has completely removed any responsibility from his father, the Undertaker, and he's put the responsibility on his mother. Now that is absolutely disgusting. Okay, and I think this is just about, I got maybe 4 slides left. You know how they say that the UK's tourism is driven by the royal family? Well, that is nonsense because, as you can see, every day Versailles pulls in 27,000 people. Annually, that's 10 million people visit the Palace of Versailles. 10 million people annually visit the Palace of Versailles. So, in case you're wondering, if you want to be a millionaire, you need to make about 27. I'm sorry, if you want to have $10 million in a year, let me get that right. If you want to have $10 million in a year, you have to make about $27,000 a day. Can you believe some people make that kind of money? I'm not one of them. But let me tell you what the difference is. I have to look for this someplace else because that is too small to see. But the one that's in yellow on the far left side, Windsor Castle, 1.6 million visitors a year. Not bad, but only 1.6 million visitors compared to 10 million at the Palace of Versailles. And then, of course, there is Buckingham Palace, 578,000 visitors per year compared to 10 million at the Palace of Versailles. Kensington Palace, only 510,000 per year compared to the Palace of Versailles. And remember, that is just the Palace of Versailles. So the most visited tourist attraction in all of London, in all of the United Kingdom, is the British Museum at 6,239,983 people, followed by the Tate Modern, the National Gallery, and so on. But the least visited out of the top 100 is the Walker Gallery. So Stonehenge and all those other places. But yeah, so when you hear people say that, just remember less than 2 million visit Windsor Castle and about 10 million visit the Palace of Versailles. And guess what? They no longer have a royal family in France. There is a glimpse of the Palace of Versailles. I took that photo myself. And take a look here. Oh, yeah, by the way, I took both of those photos, this one and that one right there, as I was walking toward the gates. Monarchy, bad for Britain, not good for tourism. True, true, not good for tourism. And as for bad for Britain, I think so because they have proven themselves unworthy by the way they have treated the Duchess of Sussex. And with that, you guys, I am done. I will see you all tomorrow. I am going to do a Gingervenge. Our last word of the day is I love the fact that Prince Harry knows the truth and sees behind it when it comes to his mother's death. Thank you, Tamikia Green. That is our last word of the day. And yep, see there. Spot on, spot on. You absolutely right. Thank you for that brilliant comment. And thank you to our faves. All right. And now, cue Ginger Avenger. Woo, an hour and 30 minutes. I am moving, y'all. An hour and 30 minutes. I will see you all tomorrow. I am not coming back after Ginger Avenger. Thank you so much. Love you guys. Thank you for all of your contributions. And and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. I'll see you over at Ann's, you guys. Okay, and cue Ginge.